Hey everybody, Mr. Garman here. Hope everyone's doing well this morning. It's Monday, the 25th, I think. This week's math lesson is we're still working with integers, and we're going to be looking at how to compare and order integers. So again, remember integers are numbers that have a value either above 0 or below 0. All right. So how do we do this? I do not think this is too complicated. There's a few things we need to remember when we're doing this, but hopefully this video will help us learn that. Try to shrink my screen there. All right. So when we look at our old familiar number line here, and we're ordering numbers, remember that we're going from left to right. So when you read numbers on a line from left to right, the numbers are in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to go from least to greatest, left to right, least to greatest. So when we're ordering these, and let's just look at this problem here, we're going to be doing least to greatest on our number line. So Corey's golf scores during her first 5 days at a golf academy are shown in the table. And what we're going to do is graph the numbers, graph the scores on a number line, and then list the numbers in order from least to greatest. And we're just going to graph them and then kind of go over what they look like, and you'll see it in a second. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have Monday, we have a 4. So right here we have Monday. Right here we have Tuesday. Right here we have Wednesday. And right here we have Thursday and then Friday. So now we have from least to greatest, -4, -2, 1, 2, and 4. So the thing to remember when we're ordering things and comparing them is -4 is less than 1. So even though this number here says 4, it's a -4. So -4 is less than 1. Things like that, just try to remember that. So from left to right, so we have -4, -2, 1, 2, and 4. So remember absolute value, where we just look at the absolute value from 0. We're not doing that, but remember that because that's going to come into play later. So let's go ahead and do it again. You can follow along doing it yourself, or you can just kind of take some mental notes or write it down on a piece of paper, but just kind of follow along and think about what we're doing here. So we're going to do it again. We're going to graph the values on the number line and then list them in order from least to greatest. So least to greatest, smallest to biggest. So elevation, so that's how high something is above sea level or below sea level. So elevation in meters, and we have 8, -2, -7, 1, -9, 0, 4, and 7. This is really practice for something called the coordinate plane, which we're going to be getting into, which is a little more complicated, more graphing, things like that. So again, we have our 8, which is right here. We have our -2, which is right here. Oh, gotta go back. -7 right there. Our 1 is right there. -9 is right there. We have our 0, our 4, and we have our 7. So again, in order from least to greatest, -9, -7, -2, 0, 1, 4, 7, and that 8's kind of cut off there. So again, if we were we're ordering them right now, but if we were comparing them, Negative 9 is less than 0. Negative 7 is less than 1. 1 is greater than negative 2. So now we're going to start looking at what we were just talking about and comparing them to inequalities. You know, you've seen this before. This is greater than and less than symbols. And that's what inequalities are. We're showing things that are not equal. So it's just, you know, math symbols and language to show comparisons between two values. So an inequality is a statement that two quantities or numbers are not equal. So the symbols less than and greater than are used to write inequalities. So when we're looking at inequalities, we're reading from left to right. So blank is blank than blank. The other way to remember is the old alligator eats the bigger number. That's how I remember it. So, you know, the big mouth is eating the bigger number. All right. So the thing with, so this blue sign means greater than, right? So the big mouth is going to be pointing to the bigger number, and this sign means less than. If you remember that, you'll usually always get these right. We can use a number line to help us write our inequalities as well. So let's take a look at an example here. 1 second, just gonna get a little bit of water. I mean coffee. So writing inequalities, last winter, the city of Hateville had a record low temperature of -1 degrees Fahrenheit, while Sanford had a record low of -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Which of the two cities had the colder record temperature last winter? All right, so here we have our number line again. So this is going to be helpful because we have a 4 and a 1, and we're looking for the colder record low temperature. So -1 is right there, -4 is right here, and we're looking for the colder record low temperature. So remember, these are integers. We have our negative symbols here. Although the number 1 is less than, the absolute value here is 1 and the absolute value here is 4, we have negatives, right? So the record low is -4. So -4 is less than -1. Yes. The other way you can say it is -1 is greater than -4. So both of these statements are true. They can write inequalities two different ways. So Sanford, the answer to the question is Sanford had the coldest record low temperature last winter. All right, so a little practice again. Go ahead and follow along with the ideas. Write them down if you need to. It's nothing you have to turn in. This is for your own benefit in learning this concept. So compare the temperatures for the following cities. Write less than or greater than. So Auburn and Oxford. So we have Auburn and we have Oxford. So if I'm comparing Auburn and Oxford, -4, remember our number line, that's going to be farther to the left, is less than -3. And the other way to think about this is -3 is the larger number, and we're going to be greater number, and we're going to be eating that greater number. It gets a little tricky because we have the 4 and 3 here. If you're not used to working with integers, it can be a little tricky. Say it to yourself out loud, that usually helps. And we have Milford and Union. So Milford is 0 and Union is -5. So again, we're doing Milford first. So Milford is greater than -5. 0 is more than -5. You'd rather have $0 than owe someone -5. Well, owe someone $5, I should say. Owe someone $5. Think of it that way. Like, I'd rather not owe somebody money. Even if I don't have any money, I'd rather not owe them money. So that's how you can think about that when you're thinking about money. All right, so this is a lesson quiz. You don't have to obviously turn anything in, but let's just kind of go through the answers here. All right, so at the end of a golf game, Ravens' score was -3 and Chelsea's score was -5. Who won the game? So who won the game? So here's a hint for golf, and this is maybe not the best question. So in golf, the player with the lowest score wins. So golf's a weird sport. The lowest score wins. So which of these is the lowest score? Is it -3 or -5? So if we think about where -5 and -3 would be on the number line, -5 is going to be farther to the right. And so we would say -5 is less than -3. Okay. And then to answer our golf question, which isn't quite as important as getting the integer part right, Chelsea would be the winner because in golf, the lowest score wins. All right, so number 2, write two inequalities to compare -13 and -26. So again, we can compare them left to right. So let's pick -13 first. So again, thinking about -13 on that number line is going to be farther to the right than -26. So -13 is greater than -26. So -13 is greater than -26. So we started with that one. So now let's start with the -26. -26 is less than -13. It seems simple, but it's really about thinking about how numbers compare to each other. And then with integers, remembering that, you know, the smaller the number in integers, the greater the value, the bigger the number. So ordering from greatest to least, this last one here, we have -5. Okay, that's going to be farthest to the left. So we're doing greatest to least. So we're going to go with the biggest number first. So I should have read that more carefully. Biggest number first. Biggest number here is 6. So we'd go 6, 5, 4, 0, -1, -4, -5. Let's see if I got that right. Kind of did it in my head there. Oh, go back. Oh. 6, 5, 4, 0. So that was a little different thinking. We're flipping it around. A little trickier. Hopefully it makes sense though. Again, ask Richie or Miss Freeland if you have any questions on this. So here's another just practice one real quick. No, this time we're doing least to greatest. -3. That would be our least value, our smallest value. And then -1, 0's in the middle, then 1, and then 3. So least to greatest. So what you guys will be doing, the assignment part of this is you'll be just doing these notes, which are pretty straightforward. And then there's a little practice there. And then there's a practice sheet with 10 problems. That sheet's worth 50 points. And you click on that. You can get to it there. I'll put it a couple places, but you can click on it there. So you'll just be doing this worksheet here. I don't know if you can see this or not. I might have screwed it up again, but it's attached right there. And a lot of similar problems to what we just did. If you want to print this out, you can definitely print it out and then take a picture of it and submit it that way if you'd rather do it by hand. Kind of made these all to be either done online or printed out. So good luck with this. And Hope everybody has a good day and a good week. Sorry for the sniffles.